Petco Park, a new beginning, let's go. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Baby said she wanna go to the game. Taught her how to say Padre gang. Started back rocking the brown. Ever since we've been knocking them down. Mitchell and Ness with the old school name. All of the homies holler Padre gang. Yeah, that.
And good day, everybody. Welcome on into the Talking Friars pregame show. Padres and the Cubs. The second of three kicks off tonight at 6:40 p.m. Pacific time on Valley Sports San Diego, 97.3 The Fan at Petco Park. We got a good one tonight, and it got more intriguing, I'll tell you that. News just came down that the Padres have reinstated Luke Voit and Wil Myers back from the injured list onto the Major League roster. They are both in the lineup tonight. C.J. Abrams has been sent down. Trace Thompson has been designated for assignment to make room for Voit and Myers. I'll get to Abrams. I'll get to Thompson. I'll get to Voit. I'll get to Myers. But first off, I hope you follow the social media channels, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, at Talking Friars. Subscribe to this YouTube channel for daily Padres content. I just put out the interview that I did earlier today with former Padres infielder Kurt Bavacqua, the 1984 World Series legend for the Padres. I know they didn't win, but he hit that big home run in Game 2 that put them ahead and eventually won them the only World Series game that they've ever won in franchise history. So we talked about that a little bit. We talked about the umpires, Angel Hernandez, Luke Voit's struggles, and this was obviously before he was reinstated. We talked about Trent Grisham's struggles. We touched on Tony Gwynn, some memories there. Also, we talked about Tommy Lasorda and the spat that he had with him, and does he regret calling Lasorda a fat Italian? The brawls that he was in, that the big one with the Atlanta Braves, we talked about that one. So a lot in episode 160. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all podcast platforms, and it's also available on this very YouTube channel. So I hope you check that out. But as for today, the pregame show, Cubs-Padres, 6:40 p.m., first pitch. It'll be Wade Miley on the mound for the Cubs, and Mike Clementer makes his second start for the Padres this season. Cubs enter tonight 10-18 after last night's win. The Padres are 19-11. Padres are in second place in the National League West, a game and a half back. The Cubs are in fourth place in the National League Central. They are 8 games back at the beginning of today. Obviously, the Padres did get shut out yesterday for the second time in 3 days. They had 0 runners in scoring position the entire game. Then you add that onto the fact that they didn't have the best defense. I guess I'm alluding obviously to the Eric Hosmer play where Cronenworth made a great play up the middle, turns, throws, and Eric Hosmer, it was a perfect throw, one hop right to him, would have got Contreras out easily, and instead Hosmer decides to go backwards instead of forward to go get the ball like a regular human being does, and it ends up leading to a run there. That was just one of the runs. That was the 4th run of the game. A whole lot happened before that. Stuff happened after that as well. Padres lose. You kind of just have to flush it and move on. It was really a bad start to this series and a bad start to the last series of this homestand for the Padres in a series that they should win. They're playing a team that they're not as good as. They don't have to face Marcus Stroman, who's on the IL as well. So that adds to it as well. And then, facing Kyle Hendricks, he is not the guy that he was in 2016 when he had an ERA under 3. I think he had an All-Star game appearance one of these years. He's not his prime anymore, but with him, the way he pitches, he is someone that doesn't throw gas, right? He never has. So someone that doesn't throw gas and they rely on their location, they can probably survive in the big leagues longer than someone that only relies on velocity. And Hendricks flashed back to 2016. That's pretty much what he did last night against the Padres. Nearly throws a complete game, and hopefully that's not what happens with Wade Miley tonight. Wade Miley, he was on the IL to start the year. He's making his first start of the season for the Cubs tonight. Miley pitched for the Reds last year. He struggled mightily at the end of the season. I was looking at his game logs earlier today, and he allowed 16 runs in his last 4 starts last season. He's 35, so past his prime. He did throw a no-no last year. Remember, he was one of those parade of pitchers, including Musgrove, that threw no-hitters in the first half of last season. He's kind of like Hendricks in terms of not being in that prime, like I just touched on. And, the velocity is not going to be there. So it might be a little bit more of the same for the Padres. It might be another tough test, or maybe they adjust to it because it's back-to-back nights where they're not facing, consistent 98-mile-an-hour fastballs from the starting pitcher. So that might be a little bit of the good news there. Mike Clementer for the Padres, he went 95 pitches in his last start, his first start of the regular season for the Padres in 2022, his first start in a game that mattered since the 2020 National League Division Series, where he couldn't really throw a curveball and he had to exit, and then he had Tommy John surgery and missed all of last season. 95 pitches in Cleveland last week, so he is built up. It seemed like he was going to go 80 to 85 pitches in Cleveland, and then he went 95, and so that felt to me that he's like, okay, this guy's ready. He's built up. You can pretty much let him go. One of my what to watch fors, though, is if Clev will go over 90 pitches again today. How comfortable will Bob Melvin be in letting Mike Clevenger go long again in that second start? I guess it depends on what the score is and how effective he really is, but I would be a little careful. Maybe not have him go over 100 pitches. This, after all, is his only second start, back from injury in a game that mattered. In a game that matters, it's his first home start, so I'm sure he's going to be juiced up for that. His first home start in 2022. So we'll see. He only went 4 2/3 last start. So if he goes around 95 pitches again, I would expect him to be at least through 5 and maybe into the 6th inning. Because remember, at the end of that outing last time, he did lose his command. And I'm surprised that he did end up going 95 pitches because I think he walked back-to-back guys as he exited that Cleveland game, the first game of the doubleheader last week. I was a little surprised because of his lack of command near the end there that Bob Melvin let him face that last hitter that he ended up walking. But he did, and that's just part of what Bob Melvin is, and that's what I like. I'd rather have a manager like Bob, express a lot of confidence in their starting staff and say, hey, here's the ball, go do it, than take him out early, and then the pitching staff's like going in with this mentality, the starting rotation that is, oh, our manager doesn't trust us. Man, I need to be perfect. If you have confidence in your starting pitchers, they're going to say, you know what, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to pitch. I feel like running through a wall for this guy. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but it just feels like the starters have a better or safer mentality, or they feel better, if you get what I'm saying, going into these starts this year. And I think that's definitely encouraging. So before we get to Voit and Myers, that's obviously the big thing today. Just going through the bullpen situation real quick, because I do want to spend a good chunk of time talking about the Myers and Voit moves, because it was definitely not expected today. Here's the bullpen situation, the bullpen chart for today. I just put that out on Twitter and Instagram. Taylor Rogers has not pitched in 4 games. He is definitely available to go today and tomorrow. Same with Garcia. Same with Wilson. So that's great news. Maybe even Suarez. He's available today probably, but I'm talking about back-to-back games today and tomorrow. We'll see. But the top 3, Rogers, Garcia, and Wilson, seem like they're going to be available. And then the bottom 3 there, Lamet, Stam, and Kerr. The game was over. The offense was not scoring any runs last night, so it was obvious. So you put in Lamet, Stammen, and Kerr. You're just mop-up guys. So guys that you have to put in there just because they're pitchers, they're relievers on the staff, right? You're not going to put in Rogers, Garcia, Wilson, Suarez, your high-leverage guys in a blowout game when it wasn't even like a total blowout. But that's just what it was. It felt like it just because of the offense, So that's the bullpen situation. Don't need to spend a whole lot of time on it because the bottom 3 guys in this bullpen pitched last night. Everyone else is available. So that is the good news. Both lineups are out, so we can get to those right now. Everyone who is watching live, I appreciate it. I will get to your comments here at the end. I just want to get through the bullpen chart, the lineups, what to watch for, his Padre pick, and all that, and then give my thoughts on the Luke Voit and Wil Myers news today, them being reinstated. I gave a instant reaction video that's posted on this YouTube channel, on all of the social channels as well. If you want to check that out, have an article up on gaslampball.com. But starting with the Cubs lineup tonight, Raphael Ortega leads off. Seiya Suzuki had that double in the first, or his first at bat last night down the line. He did exit the game, but he is DHing, so it seems like he's fine. Ian Happ in left, batting third. He had a couple RBIs last night. Wilson Contreras batting fourth. Alonso Rivas hitting fifth. Nico Horner, I think he drove in a run. I know he scored one last night. He's hitting sixth. Jason Hayward in center field batting seventh. Patrick Wisdom, who was really, really good last year, he's at third base batting eighth. Jonathan Villar, the former Met, is finishing out the bottom of the order, batting ninth for the Cubs. As for the Padres, the big news, obviously, is Voit and Myers being reinstated, hitting back-to-back in the 5 and 6 holes. Cronenworth, Profar, Manny, Haas, the first through 4 hitters. Because Myers and Voit are reinstated, that's why you don't see Kim up there in like the 5 or 6 hole. He's going to go down to the 7 spot. Nola in there catching, and then Azokar batting ninth, and it's not Grisham. Which is a little interesting to note, but, Wade Miley is a lefty, so maybe they don't want that left-on-left matchup with Grisham against Miley, and so they're going to go with the righty with the Zokar against Wade Miley tonight. But Cronenworth leading off, I like that. Obviously, that's probably what's going to happen until Tatis comes back, and then you got Profar hitting second. You don't really have an option other than to have Profar hitting second. You don't want Manny hitting second because I think you want to at least have an opportunity to have Manny have 2 guys on in front of him in this first inning, but you still guarantee him having an at-bat in the first inning, batting out of that 3 hole. And then Haas, obviously, those are their 2 best hitters right now. I don't really expect much out of Myers and Voit. Myers has not rehabbed, and we can jump right into that. After I give my Padre pick, that was the lineups for today. Yes, they did send Abrams down, Quan. Yes, they did. My Padre pick for today last night was Manny. He was 1 for 4, and I hate to do it again. I think it's 3 times in a row, but I'm going to go Manny tonight as well. Left on right matchup. That seems like the easy pick. I know it is, but that's pretty much the best pick I can do. Manny is hitting .333 off Wade Miley in his career. That's just, again, it just seems like the easy pick for me. The easy decision, the not even have to think about it decision, because no one in the lineup is doing anything right now. And I'm sure not going to trust Voit and Myers right now, right out of the gate, when they haven't had rehab assignments. So last game I had Manny, he was 1 for 4. I'm 19-10 so far on my pregame show Padre pick. So let me know in the chat, who would be your pick? The one Padre, if you could only pick one, that you think will get a hit tonight. I went through my what to watch for about Clev, and then the offense. Can they score a single run? They've scored 3 runs in the last 30 innings. They've scored in 1 inning once in the last 30 innings, and that was the Jorge Alfaro 3-run home run inning in the 9th inning when they walked that off on Sunday against the Marlins to take 3 out of 4 against Miami. They've been shut out twice in the last 3 games. So can they score a run off Wade Miley tonight? That's something to look for. And then the big news. Let's get to that. Luke Voit, Wil Myers reinstated, C.J. Abrams sent down to AAA, Trace Thompson designated for assignment. I'm going to start with Thompson and Abrams, and then we'll work to Voit and Myers. With Thompson, DFA'd, so the team has 10 days to work out a trade or maybe release him, or they can send him down, option him down, and Trace Thompson can accept that. He hit 9 home runs in El Paso. That did not translate to the big league level. He had 1 hit in that first game against Pittsburgh, his first start, and he did not get a hit the rest of his at-bats. So he ended with a batting average below 200. A WAR was negative, wasn't getting a ton of at-bats. Then when Beatty got hurt, I think he got back in the lineup. But it was clear that he was going to be sent down when Myers got activated. I guess it was just a matter of when. Will he get traded? I don't really think so. It seems like he'll just get sent down to the minors if he accepts that option. in 10 days. I think that's the way that DFA process works. And then with Abrams, I think this is an interesting move. I think it's a good move for his development. I think it's an interesting move in general, just because of the depth options now off the bench. They don't have any middle infield options right now on the bench. You don't have Eggy Rosario up or anything like that. The Alcantara kid, Sergio Alcantara, that they brought up, or that they claimed off waivers yesterday from Arizona, I don't know where he is. I haven't heard if he's in AAA yet. He's not on the big league roster, so he's not available off the bench. And so Ha-Seong Kim is going to start every day, shortstop or second base, because they literally don't have any other starting infield options. Manny's at third, obviously, and he's going to be playing third base probably now every day instead of DHing, because they don't have that middle infield option that can go play shortstop or second base and have Kim slide over to third to give Manny a DH day. So that's the only worry I have with sending Abrams down, and that's just literally bodies. You could put Profar at second and put who would they have? A Zokar in left, someone like that, and have Myers in right, Grisham in center, and Zokar in left. You could do that. But Profar has played left field. I don't think he's touched the infield this year, if I remember correctly, this season. All spring training, they put him in the outfield because they knew that he was going to play the outfield. And, he's starting every day in left field. That's pretty much where he is. He's starting in left field today, batting second for the Padres. So he's not really even an option at second base if they want to move Cronenworth to short and Kim at third if they want Manny to get a DH day. So that's a little bit what I'm concerned about, but Manny plays every day. But it's just Kim. Like, if he goes into a down spiral offensively, he's hitting seventh tonight, well, you're just going to have to live with that because you don't have anyone else right now. So that's Abrams in terms of the major league level. The minor league level, I think it's good for his development. I said this in the reaction video that's posted on this YouTube channel. He gets to go down to AAA. He can get more at-bats, daily at-bats, consistent at-bats, which is what he needs right now. Beginning of the year, he wasn't catching up to the fastball. He was swinging at pitches up here. He's had better at-bats as of late. On Sunday, Kurt Bavacqua pointed this out on the interview that I had with him earlier today, which is available on podcast platforms and on YouTube. He was pointing out how Abrams was trying to go to left field on Sunday that set up that Alfaro home run. And I agree. He was having a little bit better at-bats as the time has gone on, but he just needs more at-bats here. At the minor league level, they can give him everyday playing time, whether that's at short or second, or, in my opinion, they should just give him more outfield time. They only played him 2 games in the outfield this season in right field. So when Tatis comes back, they're probably just going to need to have him in the outfield because you're going to have Cronenworth at second or Kim at second, and then you have Hosmer at first or Cronenworth at first. So he just doesn't have much options in the infield. So the best bet for him, if he continues to hit, is to put him in the outfield. That just seems like the best option going forward at the major league level. And so this is the Padres' chance to give him those reps that don't matter at the minor league level. They matter in terms of his development, but in terms of like errors and on-field success, that doesn't really matter. It's the minor leagues. You're trying to develop, right? So I think it's a good move for Abrams, his personal growth, and I'm interested to see how he does in AAA, getting consistent at-bats and seeing that development. But that's the Abrams and Thompson side of things, those being sent down and DFA'd. With Voit and Myers, this was really interesting. Will Myers had not begun a rehab assignment yet, and so for him to just be reinstated, I hadn't heard anything about any live at-bats that he'd been taking or anything like that. He was dealing with the thumb issue. So that was a little interesting for him to just come right up, no rehab assignment. I guess that just says how desperate the Padres are. Same with Voit. They just need offense. Now, it's a valid question. Will Voit and Myers even bring great offense to the team? They weren't really hot, when they got hurt at the beginning of the year. In April, they didn't get off to the best start. And then with Voit, he gets in the lineup today as the DH. Is he the best option right now as the DH? He faced like 100 pitches yesterday in front of Major League coaching staff. He was expected to go back to El Paso to get more at-bats because of how much he struggled in his first time through El Paso last week. He went 0 for 9 with 9 strikeouts in his last 9 at-bats. He did not get a single hit in that rehab assignment before he went back to San Diego to get some at-bats in front of the coaches. So I'm really concerned about Voit. Has he made any adjustments with the coaching staff? And he's just going to implement them in a live game against Major League pitching 24 hours after he visited, or 48 hours after he, took at-bats against live ABs against pitching at Petco. I am a little concerned about that. I would have liked him to get a single hit at least in El Paso before they decide to activate him. Maybe it's because they are scared that if they DH Alfaro or Nola and one gets hurt, they have to use a pitcher. I don't know, but he was really lost in El Paso. He was pretty much lost at the big league level. So you can't, at least I'm not expecting much out of Voit or Myers really tonight or through this homestand, the rest of the series, these next couple games. One didn't succeed in AAA, didn't get a hit, and the other didn't have a rehab assignment. And both weren't playing great offensively before they got hurt. So I'm really, really curious of how they do tonight. That's another one to watch for. Has Voit changed his approach? Did he implement a toe tap, which I've been recommending? I know he's not watching, but I don't care. I'm just trying to recommend things. Bryce Harper's had success with that toe tap with 2 strikes. Will he implement that? Is it less of a leg kick? I don't think that's what's going to happen, but maybe whatever happened in front of those coaches yesterday or Sunday, whenever it was, really, really helped him, and he's changed. But I can't put my hopes up too much. So those are my thoughts on Myers and Voit being reinstated and in the lineup. They are back-to-back in the lineup tonight. All right, let's get to your questions and your comments. All right, Quan, I did answer that. Yes, Abrams is sent down. Quan says, Abrams quietly brought his batting average up. I'm happy he got sent down. Let him develop as a right fielder. I hope that's what they do. I think it could be the best of both worlds. They could give him outfield, time in the minor leagues where it doesn't matter, and he could get more consistent playing time, more at-bats, get more comfortable. Because remember, he had really minimal at-bats before he got activated and before he made the opening day roster in the minor leagues. It was not a lot of at-bats. So he's going to get those at-bats now in AAA, and so hopefully he comes back to San Diego in short order and can really impact this team after getting those at-bats in AAA. Quan says, does Hosmer get a multi-hit game or one critical hit today? You hope so. He's hitting 4th in the lineup. So if he does, that'll be good news. You would think that Manny's on in front of him. It won't make up for the defensive dumb thing that he did last night, and he continues to do at first base, but hopefully, you can only hope that he does that. He stayed pretty hot right now. I said, when that calendar turns to May, really, look at that. Pay attention to the calendar flipping and see how he does. He's been doing good right now. So we'll see if that continues, and we'll look at those numbers at the end of May. How's that? Breaking news. Dennis Lin, Kevin Acee, they are reporting on Twitter, Bob Melvin, manager of the Padres, is having prostate surgery tomorrow. He hopes to be back in time for the next homestand. Wow. So that has something to do with his bladder. So I guess that explains why he wasn't able to be in the dugout last night. And he was in the dugout, but that explains why he initially wasn't going to be in the dugout last night. And that explains why he wasn't in the dugout on Thursday. He came back from Cleveland with that issue. So hopefully all is well with him and that surgery goes well and he is back for the next homestand. So it looks like Ryan Christensen probably would be the manager starting tomorrow because Melvin is having surgery tomorrow, or maybe the surgery is after the game tomorrow. Okay, I'm just looking at the tweets coming in here. He anticipates a return to the manager chair potentially after the road trip. So I would think that Christensen takes over at the start of the road trip for the Braves and Brewers Brewers, Phillies. Who else do they play in that road trip? They start off with the Braves, Phillies, Giants. That's what it is. Big road trip. 3 contending teams. Or 3 talented teams, I'll say that. So Christensen will definitely have a much more games under his belt as the Padres manager, the interim manager, as Bob Melvin has that surgery. So hope all goes well for him. Let's see here. Alex says, is there one more spot on the roster? No, there's not one more spot. At least I don't believe. Because Beatty went on the IL. And so, hang on. Let me look at that move real quick. I'm just looking at the Padres depth chart right now. Actually, thinking about that, Alex, that might be a good point. There might be an extra spot, but they might be planning on taking that up by having Blake Snell take that on Tuesday. Because you had Beatty go on the IL, Alcantara was not activated. I think Alcantara went on the 40-man. I'm just trying to look here. Yeah, Sergio Alcantara is on the 40-man. That's what it says according to the Padres website. Let me look at their active roster. Oh, so Sergio Alcantara is on the roster, on the active roster. So scratch what I said about Abrams and there not being an option. Alcantara is on the roster right now. The infield, Alcantaras, Cronenworth, Hosmer, Kim, Manny, and Voit. So Sergio is on the roster and is on the bench. So good point. Thanks for the question, Alex. Now we know. I did not know that. They didn't announce that he was going to be on the roster. They just said that they claimed him off waivers. Because he wasn't – I didn't see him in the dugout yesterday. But I guess he's on the roster. Hopefully the Dodgers lose to the Pirates again today, Doe says. Hopefully. Yeah, that was a great loss for them yesterday. Quan says, Padres are pressing and reaching, activating Voit when he's 0 for 30, Myers with no rehab. Yeah, I was surprised by the move. The report said that Voit was going to go back to the minor leagues for a second part of the rehab or something after seeing coaches, and now he's not. Myers, with no rehab as well, getting to that point. With no rehab for him, I know he's a veteran, but still veterans still go on rehab assignments. So it's kind of weird for him not to go on one. I'm sure he faced live ABs and stuff along with Voit, maybe to give Voit a rest while he was facing live batters yesterday or whenever that was. And it just wasn't reported, but no rehab assignment for Will. Ace says, I work more hours than you. Okay, I don't know what that means, but all right. I appreciate your work ethic. Prayers up to Bomel. Jit Bomb says, I agree. Hopefully all's well. All right, let's finish off with some other MLB news and notes. We got Oakland and Detroit already in action in the 7th. Dodgers have kicked off against the Pirates in the 1st. Milwaukee and Cincinnati's underway. Big matchup in the Bronx tonight. Yankees and Blue Jays. That's always a good matchup, at least this year, because those teams are really good contenders. The Yankees are the best team in the American League, arguably the best team in baseball right now. I think they are in terms of record. As for the rest of the division, I already talked about the Dodgers playing the Pirates. Arizona hosts Miami. Colorado plays San Francisco. And then obviously the Padres, we are hosting the Cubs tonight at 6:40 p.m. Pacific time. Paul DeYoung was optioned to AAA, the Cubs shortstop. The Twins placed Carlos Correa a finger injury, and then Chris Paddock on the IL. Paddock had right elbow inflammation. Maybe the Padres knew something that the Twins did. Well, I won't say it that way because that makes it seem like Preller cheated again, and kind of like the Pomeranz deal. Because Paddock was healthy for a few starts, and he was actually pitching well. His StatCast numbers were good for the Twins, so I'm not assuming that. But the Twins trainer, actually, he used to work for the Padres, so he probably knows Paddock pretty well. And he went out and got Paddock and got him out of the game, and now he's on the IL retroactive to May 9th. So he was one of my favorite Padres, anyone that knows me personally. So hopefully everything's good with him. I really want to see him have success. I didn't like the UPS comment that he made about the jerseys. No one did, but I still want to see him have success. One, because this deal is working out for us. It would be one thing if the Padres deal that they made isn't working out and Taylor Rogers sucked. He's the best reliever, in my opinion, in the National League right now, so that's working out. Alex says Paddock might need Tommy John, and that would be a second Tommy John already. Yeah, that would suck. Hopefully all gets good with him. But those are some MLB notes. Ace says, hey, man, why can't we donate to you? Yeah, so here's the thing. Spread the word, please, about this YouTube channel. Once I get to 1,000 subscribers, we can start implementing the super chats. I need to get to 1,000 subscribers, though. So I'd appreciate it if you could tweet it out on Twitter or any of your social media, or tell your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then you would be able to donate. I appreciate that, Ace, very much, very, very much. But the super chats can be implemented when I get to 1,000 subscribers. And I'm a little over 500 right now. So please, hopefully anyone watching live or on replay, I'd appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button, because there are people, not just Ace, but there's been other people that have contacted me wanting to implement that. So that's how you can donate once that threshold is met. All right, that's going to do it. I'm Ben Fadden, your host. I have the reaction video posted on the Voit and Myers news. I talked about it here. Abrams being sent down. This has been the Cubs-Padres Talking for Hours pregame show for May 10th, 2022. I will be on the wrap-up show. I'm scheduled to be on the wrap-up show with John Schaefer tonight on their YouTube channel, so you can tune into that after the game. I'll have a post-game reaction video on this channel as well. Ben Fadden signing off. Enjoy the game, everyone. At Talking for Hours on Twitter for in-game highlights. See ya.